Yo, what's up, guys? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. I am operating on a friend's PC, so I don't have my full setup. I apologize, but give me the thumbs up in the chat. I'm doing my best here, streaming on vacation, cause the grind don't stop, baby. All right. What's up, Eric, John, Artan, Jamil, Daniel, Tim, Jam, Halo Crypto? What's up? Okay, cool. How's everyone doing? How's everyone's 4th of July? All the American homies, I hope you had a good 4th of July, celebrating your Day of Independence by drinking beer and shooting fireworks and eating burgers and probably getting sunburnt. Awesome. What's up, Cred? David. Cool. Alvaro, you can't just steal Cred's line, man. That's not cool. I'm not permanently on holiday. Sometimes I'm at home. Too loud. What if I do this? I got no soundboard. I got nothing, guys. I'm literally operating. This is poverty tier streaming. Okay, we got a bunch of people watching, so we'll just get right into this, guys. Hopefully everyone had a great holiday long weekend. If you're an American, if you're Canadian like myself, we had Canada Day, our Day of Independence, even though we still have the Queen as our monarch, so I don't know how well we did. But yeah, we had ours on July 1st, so I'm visiting friends and family. I'm out of town. So still want to get this stream out for you guys. I know I haven't been posting as much on Twitter and stuff. I've just been trying to enjoy myself a little bit, get a little bit of a tan because I'm pasty as hell. And it's beautiful. Unfortunately, the province that I'm in, British Columbia, is going through like a crazy heat wave, and half of it is on fire. So, unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's a little smoky, but it's still nice out. So wanted to get the stream going for you guys. This is going to be a little bit quicker than our usual streams. I'm not going to do 2.5 hours. There's no soundboard. There's no neck cam. But we'll do our best. I still think it will be a good stream, and obviously better than the last one, because the last one I got rugged. I wasn't even able to do a stream. It cut me off multiple times, and I got very frustrated. So we're going to focus on Bitcoin as we are in this eternal range of doom. So, I'm going to do top-down analysis on Bitcoin first, and then I will do top-down analysis on Ethereum. I'll do Ethereum BTC as well. And I'll give you guys some potential trade setups that I'm looking for the coming week. It's a Monday. Normally I do the streams on Sunday, so the weekly candle is already closed yesterday, just about 24 hours ago, 23 hours ago, something like that. So I will give you guys some setups I'm eyeing for the week. I'm actually having a great time trading this range. Those of you that are in the Discord stuff, talk to me on DMs. We've been killing the range, so should be a couple of trades. They may not be huge, massive moves, but it doesn't mean that you can't find some nice trades within the range. So, as usual, streams are sponsored by Bybit. So, shout out to the team at Bybit for continuing to work with me and help me put these on for you guys. You guys know I enjoy doing them. So, as usual, I've left some information about the rewards kind of Bybit welcome bonus program that we're running right now. So you got to click the link in the description, follow the instructions. It's very easy. You click on the buttons. It basically says, here's how much money you get for doing certain things. You can get money for following Bybit on Twitter and Instagram, for depositing Bitcoin, for making a trade. So there's a bunch of different ways. You can get up to $600 of free money through Bybit. So shout out to them for putting this on for me. Appreciate that very much. And obviously, if you guys have any questions, I will do my best to keep up with the chat. I'm working with one monitor right now, guys. So I'm not even in my optimal form. Normally I have three. I got one monitor right now, so I don't even know how I could be profitable at this point, but I'm gonna do my best. So yeah, if you got any questions, obviously I will do my best to keep up with the chat. And let's get into it. All right, we got some questions about the Discord. There's a YAT in my bio on Twitter. You can click that. It will have a link to my Discord. And if you want to know what a YAT is, you got to ask Loomdart. Bybit is not banned in Canada. It's banned in Ontario, which is a province in Canada. It's essentially like a state in the U.S. SZ has a $2,500 deposit bonus. Mine is only $600. You talking shit, bro? I'll get cred to ban you this instant. I'm pretty sure Bybit is a little bit more reputable than Delta Exchange, but that's not for me to decide. All right, guys, so let's get into it. So since we spoke last time, not a ton has happened. Basically, we had this move up happening. So the last stream that I did, we were in the process of moving up to here. Okay, so we had same range. We had this latest spike that ran all of these lows. It even ran this one down here. And then we moved up towards the mid-range, rejected, came down, tested the range low again, had another move up towards the mid-range, and unfortunately rejected yet again. So I'd kind of just given you guys a couple of potential scenarios where Bitcoin could be going based on the range. So as you guys know, I've been trying to keep it very, very, very simple with the trades that I'm taking. My main focus has been to look for longs in the lower part of the range, shorts in the upper part of the range, and do my best to sit on my hands when we are not in one of those two extremities. It does not mean that there isn't a short from here to here or a long from here to here, or setups that will occur at the mid-range. There absolutely is. However, the highest probability moves in this environment are going to happen at the extremities of this trading range. So that is the focus for me. When we're trading near the lower extremity, that's when I'm going to be looking for longs. When we're trading for the higher extremity, that's when I'm going to be looking for shorts until this range wants to resolve itself. So what I had drawn on here essentially is we came up here and unfortunately we rejected. I ended up taking a short here. There's another short opportunity here. I can go over those for you guys if you want, but I think they're pretty straightforward and I highlighted them on Twitter. But we were unable to reclaim the mid-range. So I'm going to get rid of the drawings here. But as you can see, we followed this one, right? We came up, rejected. There's your short op down into here. So I posted a tweet. I said I wouldn't be surprised if 28K is coming in the next couple of days. And the reason being is I do think that we've had multiple tests now of this low. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we are unable to get above mid-range here and make a move to the range high, and then ultimately I think this area, this order block that started this down move that has led to this long range, this is still untested. So to me, this acts as a magnet for price. I think price wants to come here and at least tag this level. It doesn't mean that the level is going to send us to zero, but I do think that this is a very good bias level for your trades, because if we are able to get above here, I think there's a pretty good chance that we then have, some sort of large move, potentially as big as 20%, to the next key area of resistance. So I think this would be a good level to mark on your charts, as if we get above the mid-range here, I expect this level to get tagged, and if we flip this level, I expect this level up here, about 54K, to get tagged. However, if we fail to get above the mid-range this week, right, we put in a decent low, but if we fail to get above the mid-range this week and we have another test of 31K, personally, I'm not interested in longing 31K again. Could we do this? Absolutely, we could. But 1, 2, 3, 4, a fifth test of the level there. Could be 6 if you include this one, but this is kind of the level that set the range. Is not one that I personally want to long. So I view this as no different than any SR level, right? What is kind of the rule of thumb with support and resistance, guys, right? The more time you test a level, the weaker it becomes, and then eventually you break. This is like your 6K floor, right? For Bitcoin, your 6K floor. Bouncy ball, weaker bounces, then it eventually gives up the goat, right? So I personally, I don't have a ton of interest in longing the range low blind. Could you? Sure. We come down here, you long 31K, absolutely. I would much rather wait for one of two scenarios, okay? Either something like we saw here, well, actually 3 scenarios. Look at this. Something like we saw here, move down, a big SFP, run a key low. That is a long I'm more interested in taking. Not the first test, but the second test after a swing failure pattern, or getting in on the low time frame here within the SFP, which I've shown you guys how to do in the past, right? Or another situation, we still have not run this low here. So this, to me, we've banged at this level so many times. We've run every low except for this one, and this one is so close to price. If we have some sort of quick move below here and then a swing failure pattern, that would be a long I'd be interested in getting into. Okay, so that's option 2. Option number 3 for a long would be a breakdown. I don't know how low it goes. Let's say it just goes to here, and then a clean reclaim of the level. So if we break down here, but then get back up, range reclaim, that's a long I'm interested in taking. Personally, I'm not really interested in just longing 31K for the 6th time. Could it work? Absolutely, but I am totally comfortable missing a trade. Like if we come down here, I don't want to long it, and then we bounce, I do not care. Right? I do not care. I've caught several trades in this range, and I've probably hit, I want to say 70 to 80% of my trades within this range. So if I miss one, it's not the end of the world to me. I sent out a tweet, I don't even know, a month ago or something, like here. And I said, if you think you longed the bottom, you probably didn't, right? And then a bunch of people, we went up, right? And everyone's like, oh, that was your long signal. There's your counter trader. Ha ha ha. Remind me in 2 weeks. And then sure enough, all the way back down. We are in a range. People's bias are going to continue to flip from long to short, long to short, long to short until we break out of this thing. People are calling it chop. They're calling it untradeable. They're saying it's no longer on easy mode. I actually disagree to an extent. I like range trading. I feel like you have very easy levels to pay attention to. I have support and resistance, and then I have areas within the support and resistance that I want to look for longs or shorts. So setting your bias is easy, right? And knowing where to pay attention is easy. That's personally something I enjoy trading. I do trade a lot of Forex, so I'm used to trading ranges. The part I do agree with, so I don't agree with that this is chop. I do agree that this is no longer on easy mode because, we had basically a year of easy mode where all you had to do was long. And as long as you weren't trading with extremely high leverage, if you waited long enough, even if you longed here, as long as you're patient and you're not on such high leverage that a little move like this stops you out, you eventually got bailed out. Same shit, right? You could long right here. As long as this move doesn't stop you out, within a couple of days to weeks, you're in profit. Literally, you could long almost every single top except for the very last one. So you could have longed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tops, and as long as you're not on extremely high leverage, within a week or 2, sometimes 3 weeks, you're in profit on those buys. So this is easy mode, right? This is easy mode. We're going like this, and your only job is to do your best to long in this part as opposed to this part. But even if you did long this part, you still got bailed out. So it was absolutely easy mode for a year. I do agree this is harder to trade if you've never done it before. But what I've tried to do over the last handful of streams is give you guys the tools to be able to effectively trade this kind of price action. So I hope for those of you that are new or those of you that have been following me for some time and watching all of these videos, you now have the ability to trade this type of, air quotes, choppy price action, because you know how to mark a range, you know where you want to get bullish, you know where you want to get bearish, right? So hopefully all of that makes sense here. So there's kind of 3 long scenarios, right? A breakdown, reclaim, right? An SFP of a low, whether it's this one or one of these ones, an SFP, similar to this, or wait for us to reclaim the mid-range, right? So if we look at the mid-range here, we do have this nice order block here that is formed right at the mid-range. So you could wait for us to clear this. And if we come up here, right, and reclaim essentially 36K, that should be a long towards 40. So range low setups, right, I gave you. The other long setup is if we're able to get above here, which we failed to do here, right? So that's why I had my arrow before I deleted all my lines where it went like this and then a pullback. So you're not longing here because this candle at one point was completely white. It didn't have a big wick like that. So you could get suckered in, like on this candle, longing it, only for it to pull all the way back. But the difference is this didn't even break through the mid-range. I explained in my last stream, I said maybe we can get something like this happen here. Right? So when we had this move going towards the mid-range, I said don't just long as we get through it. Wait for it to break and then buy the retest. And it never happened on this one. It ended up giving you an SFP right at the mid-range, and on the low time frame, there's a short setup there. So this is kind of what I'm still looking for a reclaim of the mid-range type of entry. So if you want to not long the range lows because you're not confident in it, whatever, if we get something like this, break this high, right? Break this high, which is effectively the mid-range. That's bullish market structure. So then you would have a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high. What do you want to do after you get bullish market structure? You want to be longing the pullback. That's exactly what happened here, right? We have a low. Here's your high. We now have a higher high. You're longing the higher low. And even if it just trades to here and then all the way back down, there is a nice trade to be had from here to here. That's almost 15%. Remember, we are in a range. You have to have range-bound entries and range-bound profit-taking objectives. Maybe this is the bounce that takes us way higher. I still think you TP some at the range high because it's just as likely that we come all the way back down. All right? So you want to wait and see. I don't think there is a setup right here on the time frames that I'm monitoring. Is there a trade right here on the lower time frame, a little long setup? Absolutely. This is a pullback into an order block. You could zoom into a lower time frame and have found a nice entry there. I know there is a swing failure pattern. The weekly open is also right in here. Sure, but for me, I'm basing all of my trades on the daily and the 12-hour right now because I'm not on screen all day. I'm personally, like I said, I'm on vacation, so I'm chilling. I'm not trying to be on the computer all day. I'm trying to get a tan. So I'm not looking at the 1 hour. Is there trades on the 1 hour in between here and here? Absolutely. And we can go over some of those if you guys want, just for examples. But for me, based on the time frame that I am monitoring price on, this is the state of the market still. A big range. So unless we are up here, I'm not really going to short. And unless we're down here, I'm not really going to long. But if you want to, you could look for some sort of long on a range reclaim. Or a EQ flip, excuse me. The exact same as this. This is essentially what you want to see. A break up, a pullback, that's your long trigger. boom, target the range high. Okay. On the short side, there was a short set up here, right? We've ran all of these highs, swing failure pattern into resistance after a big move down, essentially a lower high, but we didn't push down very far. So for the bears, what you wanted to see was a move back down to the range low. So if you're bearish in this range and you do think that we are going to go run this low over here and we're going to break out below this range, I would say that your probably invalidation on being a bear is probably into these highs, right? Like if you're shorting the mid-range here, I think your stop is right here. So if you're short from here or you're short here, I think your stop is pretty tight, because if we come up here and break through, I bet you get a pullback here to long. The only other short setup I could potentially see setting up here is something like this. You've got your 70.5 and your 79 retracement, and we've got our bear order block right there. So we could potentially see some sort of move up and then a big move down. So maybe that is the lower high, right? We'll have a high, a low, a lower high, and then a lower low. Totally possible. But since we're in a range and we're not trending, if we were in a downtrend, like if this was going like this, right? Like I'm taking, this is effectively the exact same short that I'm showing you, but this is in a downtrend, right? Lower highs and lower lows. I'm taking this short all day with my stop here. But since we're in a range and the trend is not clear, which is the definition of a range-bound environment, I would wait for some sort of signal within this area of price, which is also in the upper part of that range, that it wants to sell off here. So if we had some sort of swing failure pattern above this high or some sort of low time frame trade setup. So we come up to the level, we put in a high, we put in a slightly higher high, and then we do something like this. So now we've broken market structure to the downside. This is a short setup I would take with my stop like this, my entry here. So I would want to see this kind of entry fractal occur in here on a lower time frame. That would get me to take a short up here. But otherwise, this would be we'd be above the mid-range, which is here. So I don't really want it, I think you could long a retest here and then look for weakness here. If it's weak, short it, sure, it's up to you. But this kind of trade setup with the, OTE pullback, I like it a whole lot more in a trending environment as opposed to in a range-bound environment. So instead of just blindly taking the pullback into the bearish order block, I would want to see some sort of low time frame entry trigger play out within this zone for me to get into a short. So that is an area I'm watching. So in summary, I've given you a handful of setup ideas here. So what I would do if I were you is I would set up a chart. Like if you want to follow along with these streams, obviously the whole goal of these streams is to educate you to make your own trading decisions as opposed to having to just do whatever I fucking do. But if you want to make a separate trading template, right, and copy my levels so you can track how price reacts at them, the levels of interest where I'd set alerts, I would set an alert at the mid-range. I would set an alert here, right, which is that order block I had just discussed. And I would also set an alert at the range low. Now you're chilling, right? If price interacts with one of these levels, that's when you want to be on screen paying attention. Otherwise, you don't have to be. The problem is if you don't have a plan and you don't have levels of interest where you want to pay attention to price, what are you doing, right? You're lost. So if you have levels that you want to do business at, then you can structure your trading a lot more efficiently, right? Because I sent out a tweet about this like 2 days ago, something like that. I said you only need to find two levels, right? The first is the level where you want to look for a setup at. The second is the level where you want to target. I just gave you three levels to mark where you could potentially look for setups to form. So if we're not at one of those three levels, you technically don't have to do anything. Can you find trades in between these levels? Absolutely. But I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm looking for a potential short here. I'm looking for a potential long down here. And I'm looking for a potential long on a flip of this level. So until those alerts get triggered, I don't have to stare at my computer. It will send an alert to my phone. I can pull it up. I can look at it. I can get at my laptop. I don't have to stare at the chart and just wait or try and force a trade. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, Mac DeMarco says shill Pimon. It's going to the moon. How about you shut the fuck up? All right, someone let me know in the chat if all this shit I have just been yelling about makes sense. Yo, what's up, Jack? How you doing, homie? Sorry, Pika, no neck today, man. This guy says this guy's called Dude Mayne. Is that a shout out to my name? If so, I appreciate you. I'll be bidding the 786 from the June 26th low to the June 29th high. Let's see what that is. The June 26th low. I imagine you mean this. So you're bidding down here. Well, what is this level? Right? It's right near the range low, right? You're bidding right near the range low. So we're looking at the same place. Boys, I'm Ball Dinks and Link with all I've invested so far. Anybody believe it's hitting $80 by end of year? We can look at Link, bro. I'm going to be honest with you. I would not be holding any significant amount of altcoins until, unless you bought on this dip where altcoins got absolutely crushed. Like, if you're holding from up when we were at 60K and shit, the risk that you run is twofold. If Bitcoin crashes, altcoins crash more. And if Bitcoin pumps from here, based on how the Bitcoin dominance chart looks, all BTC pairs will probably suffer. So kind of sketchy, and $80 Link is fucking far away. What are we even at with Link right now? I don't even know. It's nowhere near $80. I know that much. Best to miss a trade than to take a trade and lose. I agree. I know it shouldn't matter whether you use wicks or bodies for levels, but there seems to be a pretty big difference. It absolutely matters if you use wicks or bodies for levels. So when I'm drawing my ranges, I use the wicks. When I'm drawing levels, it depends. Am I taking the open or close price of a candle? Right? Maybe I want the monthly open, the weekly open, the daily open, or maybe I'm using a wick because I want a daily high, a weekly high, a monthly high. So there are absolutely differences. Mayne, what are the exact numbers of the high, mid-range, and the low? So the low of my range is 31,230. The mid-range is 36,57. And the range high is 40,884. And I'm using the BitMEX chart, or the Bitfinex chart, excuse me. What do you think of the SNX bounce? I saw that. It bounced like almost 100%. I'll take a look at that because that's kind of crazy. This guy says, geez, come on with the tutorial. I don't even know what you mean by that. Is it really the sixth test of the level? Didn't we lose the 32K level and reclaim? So technically the next set will be the first one. I'm just saying, bro, that this range low has been battered. My level is not 3,200. We've broken below 3,200 already. My level is like 31,230, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 legit tests of that range low already. No face cam. I'm not at home. Is Mayne overall bullish? I think we are still in the crab market. We're going sideways for now. SFP stands for swing failure pattern. Bro, what do you think about the AVE news? I don't know what the AVE news. I don't know what it is. So you have to tell me. Hey Mayne, I was looking to long 31K. Where would be the best place for stop loss B? I'm interested in 31K because we have lost the range before. This is on my level and haven't tested support since. It depends, right? It depends. What is your setup? Generally, I like to see some sort of, my whole trading system is involved on getting to a level and then giving me an entry trigger that I can enter on and that I can define my risk at. The problem is if you just long 31K, where are you wrong? Are you wrong here? Are you wrong here? Are you wrong over here? You don't know, right? You got to tell me. So I like to find, like I showed you, right? Like if we come into 31K and we do something like this, okay? Instead of just longing here, if I get this trigger, now I know this is where my stop goes, right? So this is like an entry pattern or whatever it might be. It might be an SFP. It might be as simple as a breakdown and then a reclaim, right? But you need some sort of setup to form at the level. You can bang a level blind if you want, but then usually your stop is going to be a little looser because you don't have anything that is risk defined. Chupapi Muñano Mibola. I don't know what that means. Hopefully it wasn't a swear word. It would be great to go over since I've been trying to trade the 1 hour. Okay, I can go on the lower time frame soon. Anyone know where US citizens can short without a VPN? I don't know if that exists, bro. If we head to the range lows again, would you look at strong alts for high profit potential? You absolutely can. The risk is what if Bitcoin shits the bed? Then that higher profit potential becomes a higher loss potential. If you want to trade alt because you think there's asymmetry in terms of how much higher beta an alt will be, it will give you a bigger bounce than Bitcoin, by all means go ahead, but you still need to look for a setup, right? The alt still needs to give you a setup. KuCoin has futures tradings in the US without KYC. Well, this is a Bybit stream, so your yelling is clear, Neck. Okay, cool. Makes perfect sense. All right, chart idea is clutch. Hey, Mayne, is that 28 low has been clipped on some exchanges? Would the next low be the January one? Has it? So, yeah, could be. The way that I deal with differences between the feeds, right? Because you're going to have certain exchanges that are going to have slightly different wicks and candles and things like that. I like to use spot exchanges for my charting, for kind of like my ideas and things like that. So Bitfinex, Coinbase, things like that. But at the end of the day, your decision making, where's your entry, where's your stop, where are your targets, what wicks are relevant, they need to be based on the exchange that you're actually trading. So if you're trading on Bybit, you need to be using the Bybit chart, right, to determine your entries and things of that nature. You cannot be using a Bitfinex chart for your entry and then go and try and enter on Bybit because the price is going to be different, right? So you want to make sure that you are using the chart that you're actually trading when it comes to determining how you're going to enter and things like that. But the reason I like the spot exchanges, right, is on a lot of the leverage exchanges, you're going to get bigger wicks and things like that because there is leverage. You get those cascading liquidations and things like that. Okay, cool. Yes, smash the like button, please. All right, cool. This guy says he'll pay me for neck photos. You're going to have to send me a DM about that. This guy says, what would be the stop for the EQ long? It's the same thing, right? So I'll give you a perfect example. Okay, this is going to be another teachable moment, and then we will switch to Ethereum. If you just do this, right, we're looking for something like this for the EQ long, right? So we want to see this and then this. You could have longed right here. Right? So as soon as it retested the EQ here or here, you could have entered a long. But where's your risk? Based on this time frame, your stop probably has to go here or somewhere down here, right? It can't, you don't know where to put it, right? when this is happening live, if you're just saying, okay, I'm entering, it retested the EQ, well, where's this idea wrong? Is it like right here? Well, you would have gotten stopped out, as you'll see when we flash forward. So your stop's probably wrong here, or your idea, excuse me. It doesn't mean you cannot take that trade. It's essentially going to be a 1-to-1, right? Stop at the low, target the high. It's a 1-to-1, right? You're entering at the mid-range. You can take this trade. There's nothing wrong with that, but I like to aim for like a 2-to-1 minimum, right? So what do? You do what I was just explaining earlier about the entry triggers, right? The entry triggers. So what you want to do is once we get here, I'm just going to do a little movie magic here. Once we get here, you're going to have your alerts go off. Okay, we broke through the mid-range. Once we start pulling back, what do? You want to zoom in to an execution time frame, a lower time frame. You want to say, okay, where is a setup that I can take? This is our area of interest, right? So here's the breakthrough of the mid-range. Here's the EQ is right here. Okay, actually, I want to leave the EQ on for this example. I'm sorry. You'll zoom in. Where's your setup? All right, so here on the 12-hour, it's just like a big candle up, couple candles down, and then it's gone. On the hourly, you have more detail. So to me, the setup and the stop placement is going to be based on the low time frame. Maybe you're entering on this SFP, right? Maybe you're entering on a reclaim here. So you have a breaker right here, right at the EQ, right? So you have a breakdown of the level and then a reclaim. So where's your stop? Now you know my stop is here, right? Because if this idea is valid, this reclaim here is valid, I don't want to see us trade below that low. On the SFP here, similar idea, right? If you're entering on this SFP, your stop goes here. It comes back down. It never stops you out though, right? Maybe you enter as soon as we close through the EQ. Maybe after this candle closes, you just enter. Or you zoom in on an even lower time frame and you get more opportunities to enter the trade. Here's another SFP setup, but even on the lower time frame right here. A run of all these lows, SFP, you could long that, right? Down here, same thing. There's a swing failure pattern. Here's a basic bullish market structure setup here, right? You have a low, a high, a higher low. It makes a higher high, and then it retests the previous high. Stop down here, right? So what I mean when I say mark these levels and look for a setup is you need to have a few setups in your arsenal. Knowing where you want to do business, yes, super key, right? What are the key levels that I want to do business at? Marking those levels, being patient, waiting for price to get to those levels before you enter, right? But you need to have setup triggers. So whenever I talk about setup triggers, that's what I just explained, right? So if this is your key level, do you just enter when it touches? Because what happens if it does this? Right? Well, now where was your stop? Is it based on some level like over here? Maybe it's super loose. You don't fucking know, right? So what you do is you wait and you say, okay, well, if one of my entry triggers is going to be if this is my key level, I'm going to zoom in. Because on the 12-hour, a move like this is just a wick. But on the 1 hour, you have market structure. You see that it runs the level, it reclaims, and now you have your risk is defined. Right? So that's one of my go-tos, right? The over-under, whatever you want to call it. I have my key level, I zoom in, and I wait to see what price does around the level. And maybe it trades down like this, but then boom, reclaims the level. Now I want to enter because I know, okay, this is a deviation of the level. That is my risk. Now I'm in, right? So that's just one of the many ways, and I just showed you a few more within this area of how you can enter. It could be a swing failure pattern. So on the high time frame, it's just like this. It's just a little wick. But on the low time frame, you see an SFP. And that SFP and the low time frame retest, that's what gives you your setup with defined risk. Right? So that's a key step for you guys' trading. And I've done videos on this in the past. If you go watch some of my older videos, older streams, you should, to pump up my YouTube numbers, obviously. But also, I go over this kind of stuff all the time. What are entry triggers? Not just how to find the key levels, but how do you actually get involved in the trade? Right? Because that's just as important as anything else. Knowing that we're in a range, knowing that you want a long down here is great. Where is that trade idea wrong? And where are you entering and why? If you don't know where you're entering and why, i.e. your entry, and where your trade idea is wrong, you have no business being in a trade. Right? Because I'll have people go, Mayne, I longed here. I go, great. That's awesome. And then it starts doing this. And they go, should I cut it? And I go, well, where's your idea wrong? Where is the idea wrong? If it's below here and we're trading down here, why are you still in the trade, right? So I like to analyze the chart on the higher time frame, mark my areas of interest, and then I zoom in to a lower time frame, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 15 minute, and that's where I execute my trade. I get the setup and I use the low time frame price action to define my risk. Okay? Neck NFT. Should I make some neck merch? Like, would you guys be into that? You guys want to buy some neck merch and I'll like donate the fucking proceeds to charity or some shit? I think it'd be pretty funny to have like a t-shirt or like a hoodie with like those neck pepes that I've had made. What do you think about some DeFi coins pumping hard like Comp, Aave? We'll take a look at altcoins in a minute here. I'm going to do Ethereum. I'll do Ethereum BTC and then we'll take a look at alts, all right? Makes sense. I love when you yell at me. Enjoy the chicks on a boat. Thanks, Ernie. 80 is a stretch. And I call myself a Marine. That's funny. At least you're honest, Daniel. Comp has been amazing. I looked at it at 230 and didn't buy. Heavily regret. Hey, Mayne, BTC looks like it's just done a bearish retest. Low time frame. Targeting a lower low. What say you? Also, please check wickless closure only. I don't even know what that fucking means. Just look here. Right? So the one thing is this is a long here. Like if I'm looking, so here's a potential setup that could be forming right now. Just giving all the alpha away today. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm on vacation, baby. Okay, this is our swing that we're operating within. Big pullback into where? A level of interest. What's happened at that level of interest? Swing failure pattern. Right? That's an entry on its own. Right? That's an entry on its own. This is also, I'm pretty sure, the weekly open. No, maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy. Well, no, it is. There's the weekly, or previous weekly open right there. Right? So big SFP into a key level. What you could also see though here is what? This is bullish market structure starting to potentially form here, right? Where is this bullish market structure confirmed? Above here. So if you did not long this, right, I would wait for us to clear this. Because what's happening now? Within this bigger range, right, where we had this long opportunity, we also have this happening. This is a low or a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low. This is bearish market structure here on the 30-minute, below the mid-range. Now we've had an SFP here, right? So I have two clear triggers. If I'm scalping this today, I have this as a trigger and I have this as a trigger. Because if we are able to get above here, we are going to, this is not efficient, right? Look at all these down candles in a row. This is not efficient up until here. So if we get above here, you could get a long at least into here and potentially taking out this high, right? And that would confirm a trend reversal, right? So that would be a long I'm interested in taking. Alternatively, based on the fib that I pulled from here to here, we have some weakness forming here. So if this breaks down, makes a lower low, I think we're going to see the continuation of this trend as opposed to a trend reversal. So this would be a short you could take with your stop up here for another leg down. So if you're an intraday trader for the rest of the day, try this on your charts. Mark this level and mark this level. Wait for price to break above or break below and then enter. Obviously, the only thing that would make this different is if it broke above here and then broke right back down. So did an SFP or just deviated above, broke right back down, that's a short. And same thing here. If it broke down here and then completely reclaimed it, that would be a long. Otherwise, if you're not in a trade, I would wait for this level or this level to break. And now you want to hop in for either a move up into here or a move below this low and possibly down into these lows. So there's a little scalping potential range that you can now focus on, right? Nothing here right now. This is the 30-minute chart. Above here or below here. I look at this and it reminds me of AVAX a few months back. Do you think range has a lot more legs in it? It's impossible for me to know when the range will end. If I knew when the range would end, I don't know. I would be the biggest account on Twitter if I had the ability to tell you exactly when we're going to break out, right? All I know is that the volatility is drying up a little bit, right? So we had, where is my tool of choice, right? Big move, smaller move, right? This move was quite big, right? So 40%, 30%. Now these moves are starting to get smaller. These moves obviously have been smaller. So to me, if you were to put the Bollinger Bands on, I imagine the Bollinger Bands are starting to converge, right? If you're a moving average trader, the moving averages are starting to converge because I do think we are going to have some sort of breakout of this kind of consolidation soon. It's becoming less like this. Oops. It's becoming less like this, right? And it's becoming more like, you know what I mean? It's coming to a head. That's all a triangle is, right? Is it's a range and it's just showing you that the peaks and valleys are compressing. But I don't know when this range will end. It could go on for a while, right? Like if we have some sort of big move down like this and then reclaim, we could range again for a while. But I do think we're due for either a big move down and clearing out here or a big move up and clearing out up here before continued potential sideways. Do I plan on selling the news on EIP 1559 on July 14th? No, I don't. Because I don't really own a ton of Ethereum. I bought some Ethereum, like sub, 1900 on the doomsday. But I'm pretty heavily weighted in stables right now, to be honest with you guys. I still own some altcoins, and most of them got absolutely cranked. Join late, had to watch the first 30 minutes on 2x speed to realize how slow you're talking. Oh my god. All right, to be honest, I love these huge bounces like SNX, are short ops, especially in these market conditions. All coins are in a downtrend until proven otherwise. Yo, Mayne, what are the chances this time it's different? in terms of market cycles compared to 2017? And are there any other factors than price that would make you think this time is different? So for those of you that follow me for a long time, you guys know I primarily focus on price action. I don't try and make like broad sweeping predictions about the market as a whole, or if this time it's different, or if we're in the super cycle or whatever. Could we see a repeat of 2013, right, where we had the double bubble, the big move up, then sideways for like 6 months, and then another run? Sure. Could it be like 2017 and this is just it? Now we're going to go 80% drawdown for 2 years? Sure. I don't know. I'm just trading level to level. I think what's fucking people up the most is this doesn't look like the top we had in 2017. The top we had in 2017 was a little bit sharper and then, very clear downtrend. This doesn't change the fact that this was clearly distribution. Like, this is clearly a high, and I think it will be a high for a while. Ethereum looks a lot more like 2017. The big needle dick top, right? And then maybe a lower high before eating shit. But the way I trade, level to level, right? I have no interest in being all in crypto until we either... So I bought some stuff down here, right? If we come up to here, I will sell everything that I bought down here, because this would be a perfect lower high, right? So your fib from here to here, that's a perfect lower high. So you sell everything you bought here, you make a shitload of money on the way up, close it all out, hedge short, because if we die from here, it's fucked. We're going low. Not that low, but we're going low. We're probably going back to like here, right? At least. But if we don't, let's say we do this, guess what? You get fully back into crypto on a flip of this level, because if we regain this level, we're going way higher. So yeah, you miss out on this to this. You miss out on a little bit, but you protect yourself in the case that this is just a lower high like we had in 2017. Right? If you go back to 2017, it's the exact same fractal as this. Your get the fuck out of crypto pullback was here. We had our top, we had a range, we had a move outside of the range, a perfect lower high relative to this, and then it absolutely shit the bed. So we could see the exact same thing kind of happen with where we are now. And that's a situation I'm absolutely watching. Like, if we get some sort of huge rally out of here, fuck off with your stupid fucking bullshit. Some huge rally out of here, I'm out of all crypto up here, if that happens. And then I'll just rebuy on a flip if that happens, because I think it's just as likely that this is just a huge exit, right? Everyone gets hyped again, and then boom, shit's the bed. That's exactly what happened in 2017. All my Bitcoin that I didn't sell on the way up, I sold up here. I didn't sell anything here. But once we had this huge breakdown, I said as soon as we get a big ass bounce, which we got, 10 to like 17K, I sold everything. So that is exactly what I will be looking to do. Same shit here, right? Here's your top, big ass breakdown. There's your lower high, right? And then obviously look what happened next, right? Huge fucking downtrend. So if we get something like that, I'm getting the fuck out. Maybe we do this, right? Maybe this is just it. We go like this. I didn't mean for that line to go that low, but maybe it's like this, right? And then it rallies again in the fall or early next year. This would be kind of your double bubble situation, right? Big range, run the lows, maybe retest previous all-time high, and then we go on charging. Great, no problem. But I'm just going to play it level to level. I'm not going to try and predict what happens. It's great to do this, right? Because if this happens, I can retweet it on Twitter and go, oh my God, look at me, I fucking nailed it. But all that matters is how much money did you make during any of this shit? That's all I care about. How much money can I make? How much money can I make? Dollars. Like, yes, I want more Bitcoin. But if I sell crypto that I bought here and we come up here and dump, guess what? I can now buy more Bitcoin and more Ethereum at cheaper prices. So I'm just worried about making money as opposed to like looking right on Twitter, because you'll see a ton of people who will post a fractal and be like, look, we followed this fractal. It's like, yeah, but did you trade it? So this is something I could see happen. I would short the fuck out of this if it gives you the opportunity. Otherwise, until we get out of this, right, We're all just encapsulated within here. I think we just continue to kind of go sideways. I feel like this low gets run, man. I don't know. Like if this is the top, every single bull market we've had, we generally pull back like 80% to 90% off the high, right? So 80% puts us all the way back at like 12, if that was the high, right? So you got to be prepared that this can get a lot uglier. So rather than try and predict whether we're going to have a double bubble or not, why not just make as much money as you possibly fucking can, and then just play the trend when it's obvious. It's as opposed to assuming that this is just going to reverse or assuming that this is going to break down. Focus on making a bunch of money, and then when the trend becomes clear, like a clear breakout or breakdown, then you have more confidence for swing trades, right? That's just how I trade. I don't know. Trade however the hell you want, obviously, but I feel like some of you guys watch these videos because you like how I trade, right? Everyone's asking about why DeFi is pumping. This Max DeMarcos guy's back. I didn't put him in timeout long enough. I'll just boot him forever. See ya, buddy. Imagine coming on my stream and trying to talk shit, thinking I won't fucking absolutely eviscerate you. First of all, your name's dumb. That's all I got. Okay. Yeah, this guy's an idiot. Oh, alts are so bullish. Look at Kava. Look at Tomo. Like, what are you talking about? Is this bullish? Right? Let's look at Tomo. Is this bullish, bro? Is this the altcoin you're talking about? The one that is down from its fucking high almost 50% in the last fucking 3 months? Is this the one you're talking about that's so fucking bullish, you absolute retard? Shut the fuck up while you're talking to me. Bitcoin is the dominant fucking coin right now, right? Bitcoin is the dominant fucking coin. When altcoins are super bullish, irrelevant to Bitcoin is here. It's here. It's here, right? This is your alt seasons, right? We had an insane run on alts from February to May. Alts went crazy. Ethereum doubled in price from 2,000 to 4,000 because Bitcoin dominance was weak. We've just had multiple consecutive monthly down candles on Bitcoin dominance and just had our first bounce. So in my opinion, if this is able to rally to here, Bitcoin is going to be what you want to focus on, not alts, because every volatile move on Bitcoin to the downside is going to wreck alts, and any up move on Bitcoin will outperform the alt. So while the alt USD pair might go up, Bitcoin itself will go up more because Bitcoin is more dominant, so the alt BTC pair is going to be bearish, right? He's looking at Tomo Chain. Bitcoin has been spanking Tomo Chain. If this starts going up, right? If this breaks out and starts going in an uptrend, absolutely start trading Tomo Chain and against Bitcoin because it's going to outperform Bitcoin. Same with this, right? If this gets into an uptrend against Bitcoin, then great. It has an opportunity to outperform Bitcoin. But most altcoins are potentially starting to turn around. So the question here on Ethereum, BTC for example, is are we going to continue this uptrend? Because remember, this is Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin. But if this breaks down, guess what? Bitcoin is going to be outperforming Ethereum, just like it had been for literally eternity. So this is what you want to focus on. Don't look at the alt USD chart cannot be looked at in a vacuum. If you want to trade an altcoin instead of Bitcoin, that's your prerogative. If you think your altcoin's the future, if you think it's bullish, I don't give a shit. If it's not outperforming the Bitcoin chart, you're better off just trading Bitcoin. Like, let's look at Aave. So people are wondering why Aave went crazy. Look at the altcoin Bitcoin chart. Big move up. One thing you're going to want to be careful with is this. Because this is a high and this is a lower low here. So if we come up into here and do this, guess what? Aave is going to get absolutely ripped. If it's able to flip this, then by all means, that looks great. Okay, but the problem is this is already up in the last 10 days. It's already up almost 70% versus Bitcoin. So if you're looking to long this now, you're longing into resistance, right? You're longing into resistance here. If it flips this, by all means, let's all pile into Aave. But the long on Aave, this is the exact same setup. So look, here's your floor. We came down, we retested this. Huge move. This would have been a sick long, but this is a perfect bearish retest right now. This thing is 85% up off of this low. So do you want to long something that's up 85% already? I personally don't. If it continues to be bullish, so if Bitcoin breaks out and this continues to be bullish, then by all means, get long on this thing, right? But the fact that so many people are posting about SNX and Aave and Comp and Tomo tells me that all of these coins have made a big move and everyone missed the move, and now they want to know when they can long it, right? Because that's just human nature. You see something go up huge and you go, holy shit, it's up, this is bullish, I better long it. When in reality, the long on Comp, again, happened, a week and a half ago. This is where you want to get bullish. You don't want to get bullish after this move. What is the likelihood that this just does 3 more huge candles? Is it possible? Absolutely. But is it likely? Probably not. I think what's more likely is that this is either a bearish retest or, again, right? Breakthrough here, there. Here's your second chance. If you missed here, this is the long that I want. I don't want to long it into resistance. That's just me. Do whatever the hell you want, obviously, guys, right? But this is how I view altcoins, how I view the markets and stuff. I first want to see if it's outperforming Bitcoin, and then I don't want to chase the pump, right? You want to long red candles. You want to long when price looks shitty and when everyone is telling you that it's dead, not when all of Twitter is talking about it and telling you that this shit is going straight back up to the moon. This thing is up 85% in the last 9 days. Right? I think you missed the long. Either wait for a higher low, maybe, or wait for a reclaim. Sure, but I'm not chasing this kind of move personally. If you want to, by all means, do whatever the hell you want. And Max DeMarcos, you are a fucking loser. Go fuck yourself. Rant over. Michael, your mindset makes you a good trader. I can already see that. Thank you, Michael. JM, will I ever do some live trading with small size? I could, if that's something you want to see. I'm not like a scalper, right? Like I know Loma, for example, has that series where he does scalping on like the 1 and 5 minute chart. That's not really how I trade. So I could do it. I don't know how good it would be, but I'm more than happy to try it, but I can't make any promises. I'm much more of a medium time frame trader. How much for one neck photo? I'm going to say 1 Ethereum. All right. I'm just going to start looking at Ethereum now, guys. So I'm new here. Do you mind sharing where you learned TA? Was it someone in particular? It's a whole bunch of different people and a mix of tons of chart time and trying tons of different things. But the way that I trade is price action. So a guy like Crypto Cred, for example, has a great series on price action and how you can trade it, right? So you could start there if you want to learn the basics of price action. Cred has an amazing, completely free video series. All right, guys. So I'm gonna look at Ethereum now, and then we can look at Ethereum BTC, and then we can kind of probably wrap it up. I have no idea how long I've been screaming, but my voice is getting a little parched, so we're probably approaching at least an hour. Okay, cool. So Ethereum, right? We've been tracking it the exact same way that we've been tracking Bitcoin. We're in a big range. So go down to my time frame of choice here at the 12 hour. And we have relatively similar price action, right? Where Bitcoin, little less bullish looking. Ethereum to me looks slightly more bullish coming off the range lows. So here is our range. So for those of you that cannot see the range, 1775 is my low, 29.15 and 40 cents is my high. And then obviously the 50% gets calculated for you automatically, but it's 23.35.20. And again, this is using the Bitfinex chart for Ethereum. Okay, guys? Nicole Dorito says, you're my fave trader. Thank you. Doritos are my 6th favorite chip. So that puts you in the hierarchy. So right now, Ethereum has had a little mini uptrend here into what? The EQ of the range. We've had this range for literally 6 weeks on the charts. Since the end of May, I've had this exact same range. And look at all the interactions we've gotten, right? Once we finally broke down right into the range low, moved back up, rejects right at the mid-range. So again, just like on Bitcoin, this gives you clear levels of interest and areas to focus on price, right? The whole idea of breaking down the range like this is so you know where to pay attention, as opposed to, oh my God, where the fuck are we in price? I know exactly where we are, right? So if I'm looking at Ethereum right here, what I don't love is obviously this kind of rejection right at the EQ, right into a bearish order block here. So that could have been a good short with your stop right there. So I think the easiest long trigger on Ethereum is a move through here. I think if we're able to get above 2400 effectively, which is this high, and flip this 12-hour order block, I'd be interested in longing Ethereum towards 3000. Okay? If we break down here, I think things could get pretty ugly for Ethereum. So the upside trade trigger for me is a breakthrough, the EQ, kind of a reclaim of 2400. This is the 12-hour chart, so we're talking 12-hour candle closes, right? If I'm on the 1-hour chart and I'm looking at a level and I say I want to see the 1-hour chart flip the level, right? Then you use 1-hour candles. If I'm talking about the 12-hour, I want to see where 12-hour candle closes, because on the 1-hour chart, there are candle closes through the EQ here. But my high time frame is the 12-hour, and as you can see on the 12-hour, we never close through. So something like this would be a pretty straightforward long trigger for me. Above 2400, log that into 2900. I think that's pretty straightforward. Alternatively, if we get a breakdown of this low, okay, or a break above this high, I think you could enter a trade in either direction. So this would be your EQ flip, higher high on the H12, right? Because this would make a higher high, so we're now longing the dip for a move up. So that's what you want to see on the long side. You want to see a higher high, flip the EQ, flip this bearish order block. So a big candle close through here. The next dip is the one that you buy, and you're targeting 3K. Alternatively, on the short side, I either want to see some sort of swing failure pattern or weakness above this high or within here on the lower time frame. So if we get some sort of move, there's two types of magnet now. What's the difference? Oh, this one's way stronger. Look at that. Science, bitch. I like the weaker one. It's a little more gentle. Some sort of move like this, right, would be a short trigger for me. Otherwise, I would want to see us break market structure to the downside to get into a short. So we haven't confirmed this swing low yet. What you need to have for a swing low is 3 candles. So if we get another 12-hour candle, the next 12-hour candle starts at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is in 30 minutes. So if we get another 12-hour candle that looks like this, right, then we would have a swing low here. Because right now our most recent swing low is this one. You got a candle here, there's your low, there's your higher candle. So if we have a candle here, there's our low, there's our higher candle. This becomes your market structure on the 12-hour. So above here, break up, higher high, long it. If we get another up candle, so the next 12-hour candle closes above here, it cannot go below this low, this becomes your swing low. And then if we break down there, you can short it. Otherwise, I think the plan is on Ethereum to look for a long right now. Assuming it holds this low intact, this is an uptrend, right? A low, a high, a higher low, a higher high. For now, we are maintaining this uptrend. So as long as this low holds, assuming this next candle prints like this, the uptrend is maintained, and we're looking to long it like that. If the next 12-hour candle closes like this, but then we break down this level, we've now flipped market structure bearish. I'm starting to look for shorts into the range low. Okay? So those are your key levels on Ethereum right now, and I would mark this level as well and wait and see how that next 12-hour candle closes. If we zoom in, you could argue that this rejection is the high. And if you think that's the case, if you think that this is the high, so if you think this is the high, right, so into the mid-range, I'm going to bring those back. So this is our mid-range, right? If you think this is the cap on the market there, right into our mid-range, what do you want to look for on the lower time frame? Because the 12-hour swing low is way down here. The H4 swing low is here, right? So on the H4, we get an earlier signal. So if we see this on the H4, either some sort of weakness within here or a break below this low, right? This could be your short. Because this would be a trend shift on the H4. And what precedes a trend shift on the H12? A trend shift on the H4, which is preceded by a trend shift on the H1 and right? All the way down. So if you're interested in potentially getting in a short earlier on Ethereum, you don't want to wait and see how the next couple candle closes. This is an H4 swing low. In the next 30 minutes, it will confirm. This will be your H4 swing low. So if we reject like we are now and break below this low, I think you could take a short down into here and down into here. And exact same situation on the upside, right? This is your H4 bias level. Here is your swing high. So if we're able to break up, make a higher high, this is the dip you buy on the H4. So all I'm showing you is if you don't want to wait for the H12 market structure to shift, because right now the H12 swing low is way the fuck down here. So if you're trying to get in earlier because you're bearish, you could use this swing low here and have that as your bias level for the change of trend. Because this is a convincing high. This is absolutely a convincing high. You just have to wait now and see if we give you that kind of bearish reaction. And what do I mean by that? Bearish market structure. I want to see us reject at resistance, and then I want to start seeing us make lower lows and lower highs. Right? So does that make sense on Ethereum, guys, for the plan? Above here is my long. break down below here is my short. And if you're going to take this on the H4, let's assume we break down here. This is short number 1. This is short number 2 right here. Because that's that H12 low, right? First the H4 low will break, and then the H12 low will break. All right? Like, I just think it's funny when like people like come on like my fucking stream, think they can talk shit, man. I have the power to ban you, dude. Some guy was talking shit in Discord, just banned him for life. He's basically dead to me now. Is my neck real? My neck is even bigger in person. Try and strangle me. I guarantee you can't. Do you ever long an alt and short another alt? Basically shorting the second alt versus the first one. Sure, right? Because you can make a synthetic pair, right? Like LTC F, right? This is a synthetic pair, which would be, God, that idea didn't work out. This is essentially Ethereum versus, or LTC relative to Ethereum. So you have LTC as the numerator, you have F as the denominator. Okay? So if you long Ethereum, right, and short LTC, you are effectively shorting LTC F. I don't know why you would necessarily do that unless you think that you found a setup. By all means, do whatever the hell you want, right? If you think this is going to go down, you could long Ethereum, short LTC, and you'd be shorting this chart, right? So you can do this on TradingView. You can do, let's look at Cardano USD divided by Ethereum USD. This is effectively this chart. This is Cardano F. So yeah, you could, if you think this is going to break up for some reason, you could short Ethereum and long Cardano, and you would be long this fraction. Right? So you absolutely can do that. You can do all sorts of crazy shit. The one thing that I caution people against, just with dealing with crypto, right, especially, is altcoins are so correlated to each other and they're so heavily affected by Bitcoin. Diversification is kind of a meme. If the whole market is crashing and you own several different altcoins, you're just getting fucked several different ways as opposed to just owning one altcoin and getting fucked one way. Right? So you got to be careful spreading yourself too thin on alts. I understand some DeFi coins are looking really strong right now. Right? So you could be long the DeFi perp, or you could be long, I don't know, how's Sushi looking? Is Sushi doing okay? So Sushi, for example, is a DeFi coin, right? It's not doing nearly as well as Aave. Right? So there are going to be asymmetry between some of these coins, but to a large extent, they are heavily correlated. So you just got to be careful spreading yourself too kind of wide. Samwise is live trading on Twitch right now. I don't know who that is. When did you make your first M? That's none of your business, Mr. IRS. Do you sometimes use TPO like exo charts? No, I do not. No, I do not use TPO. Anyone have a link to the Loma scalping series? I don't know, bro. Try typing it in on YouTube. I think you might be surprised with what you find. The ketchup chips are goated. I don't care. Ketchup chips are goated. Definitely a top 5 chip, right above Doritos. If you don't know the fundamentals or who created or owns crypto yet buying, then F your chart. You don't know what's going on. Simple. I don't need to do the math. 3, 2, 1. I got him in the bag. I don't even know if what you said was English. It makes zero sense to me. Oh, he's trying to say that FA is better than TA, I think. I think you're wrong, bro. How fundamentally strong were your altcoins 3 months ago versus now? Have the fundamentals changed at all? Like if you're super bullish on Cardano, are you more bullish now than 3 months ago, or the same? Because if you're saying that fundamentals and who created the coin is all that matters, then you should be just as bullish on Cardano now as you were 3 months ago. But if you own it, you're down about 60% off of your USD value that you were 3 months ago. So if so facto, you're fucking dumb. 12 hours only for trading view subscribers? I don't know. I have no idea. You can just use the daily, right? The 12 hours, just two candles make the daily, right? When taking profit on a trade, do you close your entire position at a set level, or do you take partial profits, wait for confirmation that the trend is reversing? It depends. And I know that answer sucks, but it depends on the setup. It depends on what type of environment are we in. If we're in a trending environment, right? When I'm taking profit in this type of environment, I'm taking partials and I'm trailing my stop because we're in an uptrend and I'm hoping that price continues to make new highs. When we're in a range environment, I'm usually entering the trade and closing the entire trade at my TP or the majority of it. My suggestion would be, when you're learning to trade, less is more. Don't get too fancy with take profits and trailing stops and partials and shit. Enter where you want to enter, have your stop where your idea is wrong, and take profit where you want to take profit. Because the less you fuck with your trade, the better. Because if you are just learning and you're like, okay, my entry is here, my stop is here, and my take profit is here. What happens if price does this? Right? And then you're like, oh shit, it's coming towards my stop, so you exit early. And then you come back the next day and it's done this. You're going to be pissed because you were dicking around with it. Same shit here, right? It goes past your take profit. You're like, oh, I'll just close part of it. And then you come back the next day and it's back here. So you're better off just taking your full pop and not messing around with it until you're a little bit more confident in your system. Once you know what you're doing and you're confident in your system, by all means, take partials. One thing that people always have is FOMO, right? They're in an uptrend, they long here, their take profit is here, it gets here and they go, oh, what if it's going to keep going up? It might. That's trading. But if you really want, close part of it, take out your initial, put your stop to break even, and leave a moon bag on. There's tons of different shit you can do. But when you're learning early on, I would say the less you fuck around with it is the better. The neck provides concussion protection. Absolutely. ISO World, I don't know if you were talking shit to me, so if you weren't, I'm sorry. One neck. The camera adds 20 pounds. I'm sure I could choke that neck. Morgan Perkins, you come and find me in Canada, bro, and you can try and choke me. But if you can't choke me, I get all of your Bitcoin. If you guys like cars, go watch Street Banditos channels. They were in the comments, so go support a fellow degen. Okay. I'm not fudding Corpse Grinders, the singer of Cannibal Corpse, and a personal friend of mine. That's cool. How do you identify ranges early on? Great question. So generally what you want to see to identify a range is just a price swing. Right? So if we're in an uptrend, once price makes that low, so there's your high. Once it makes a clear low, there's your range. And if we're in a trending environment, generally, it will just keep going. It doesn't mean that the range isn't important because you can find trades within the range, right? But generally, like here, what you want to see is, okay, once that big drop happened, where was the low and then where was the high that was made? So here was our low. Here's an easily definable high. There's your range. Right? So I had this range marked already after this move. And you can edit it. Maybe you like this low better. Doesn't really change very much, right? Maybe you like this high better. Doesn't change anything. It's still the exact same. But generally, you want to see a clear price swing. That's what you need to identify a range, right? So this is a very clear price swing. You could use that. This is a clear price swing. You could make this into a range. So there's lots of different ways you could do it, but you generally want to see price establish a low, right? As you say, okay, there was the high that generated the low. This is now my range. He's got a shirt that says "Respect the Neck." It sounds like I need that shirt. Simon D says, so you chain the shorts or longs level to level, open, close, rather than ride too far in one position. It depends, man. It's up to you. Um, if you think that we're gonna trend and you want to leave your trade open and you want to compound it, and by all means. But to me, I don't really care what my entry price is and what my exit price is when I'm trading. If I'm buying spot, I want the lowest possible price, right? But if I'm just trading, all I care about is the distance between my entry and my take profit. So if it's 10% and it's from here to here, or it's 10%, it's from here to here, it makes no difference. So the problem I find a lot of people have is they'll, especially when they're new, is they'll get a really good entry, right? Maybe like this is a perfect example. Bunch of people thought they longed the bottom here, and I sent out a tweet saying, I don't think this is the bottom. And you get this really good entry and you're like, oh, I longed the bottom. And then price goes up and you're like, oh my God, I longed the bottom. And it starts doing this. And you didn't close any because you thought you longed the bottom. And then all of a sudden, you didn't long the bottom, right? So you don't want to let a good entry become a bad one, or a good trade, that was in profit become unprofitable. So I have no problem. Like if we come in here and I enter the trade, right? And then I close it here and it's going to keep going. It's okay. I'll wait for the next setup, and now I'm back in. Maybe I missed out from here to here, but who really cares? ISO World, ban me if it makes you feel big, bish. Matters none. Your English sucks, man. How did you trade the 17 crash? I did a lot of shorting. Mayne, you're a king. Thanks, Mitch. Can you take a look at KSM, please? Sure. Okay, guys, we'll do altcoin requests for the next like 10 minutes, 15 minutes here, and then I'm gonna end the video. Okay. Can you do an example of your own TA? What do you think I've been doing for the last hour and a half, my man? ISO, DM me and send me a link to that shirt and I'll buy it. Nickelback says Daddy Mayne. I hope you're a girl, or else that's weird. Mr. Mayne, can I get your thoughts on Polygon? Sure. I'll look at Polygon. I'm going to look at KSM, and I will look at a handful of other alts, and then we're going to end it. Okay, guys? So KSM. So I'll be honest with you, I've seen a lot better looking charts. So the one thing that you could kind of say this has going for it is that it's kind of reclaiming this low a little bit. But what I don't like is that it broke this low. If this would have been an SFP, so this candle didn't close through here, I would have liked it a lot more. But you could argue and you could make a trade idea based on this level. Like I said, right, in that tweet, you only need to find two levels. Where's the level that you're interested in getting in the trade? And then where's the level that you're interested in potentially getting out of a trade? So I think there's potentially a trade from this low to here, let's say. So we're reclaiming a key low. You have to keep in mind the weekly market structure on this thing is bearish as fuck. We're making lower highs and lower lows on the weekly. So any sort of retrace we have to assume is for a lower high. So just keep that in mind. Longs are counter trend on the high time frame. That being said, we're reclaiming a key low right now. The H12 has put in bullish market structure, has it? Not really actually. Well, sure. The H12 market structure is bullish. We're reclaiming a key low. So you could argue that as long as we hold above effectively $200 here, right? So as long as this is a reclaim of this low that we're seeing right here, you could look for a long into 260 and potentially into here. What would the setup look like? For me, I would want to see a break above this H12 high. If we get a break above here, I think you could long the dip into 260. And that's a pretty decent trade. It's like almost 20%, a little more than 20% there. So that's what I see on this. We're reclaiming a key low. We could see a retracement up into maybe even as high as 300 on this, but the high time frame market structure on this chart is bearish. We just made a lower low on the weekly, a lower low on the 3-day, a lower low on the daily. So the high time frame market structure is bearish. So whatever long you're taking is counter trend. So you have to be smart with your profit taking. But we absolutely could get a relief rally here. But if Bitcoin dumps to 28K, guess what? Boop. So just be aware. I don't know who Sam is. I have no idea who Trader Sam Y is. All right, XMR. Very similar looking chart, right? Massive move up, huge dump. So, I mean, your thesis for this is that this is a higher low, like if you're bullish. Crazy that literally the top is like a massive monthly swing failure pattern, hey? Kind of funny. So you have a huge monthly demand zone here, right? That we dumped huge off of, and now we're basically in a range here on XMR. You know, could this go up? Possibly. I would wait for it to clear these highs here, right? I don't see why this can't get at least a move like this happening. Up into like here. So, could you long this? Sure. I would wait for it to get above here. Right? To get long. But then I'd be careful in here. Because this would be where, if a lower high is going to form, it's going to happen right here. So you could long it into here. You know, no reason to be overly bearish down here. We are into demand, but again, high time frame, this thing is in a downtrend. So keep that in mind. If you want a range, right, there's your range. So we're in the lower part of the range here. Maybe if it flips here, there's a long, but personally, I'm not really, there's no setup here for me on the H12 that I can see that is like clear. H4 is kind of the same. Right? Get above there. That seems like a pretty easy long trigger, right? Resistance, resistance, resistance. If it manages to flip this, that's probably a good long. And again, if Bitcoin dumps, guess where this is going? All right, H bar. Peace to its soul, please, Big Daddy Mayne. Oh my God, y'all are crazy. All right, H bar. Okay, so same idea, right? Huge move up, big retrace right into weekly demand. What I like about this one is this. So we have this low form, and then we have a big wick that tags demand, and then it closes back above. Why do I like this? This now gives me an idea of where I can define my risk, right? I don't want to see us go back below there. The whole idea is that move means that that should be the low if we're going higher. So I don't hate this one nearly as much because of this wick. And now what do we have here on the H12? We have an uptrend forming, right? So assuming Bitcoin doesn't die, you always have to keep that in mind. I like this a lot more for a long than the other ones we were looking at. Because basically, I'm going to delete this weekly demand here. You can argue that essentially we are in a territory where you could long. Like, you could literally long this right now because we're pretty close to the invalidation. I personally am not going to long this. I'm not really interested in being long right now, but let's say you want to long right now. Your stop is there. And I think you probably target probably here. Right? So you could long this. This is obviously the 12-hour chart, so keep that in mind. Right? So this stop is pretty loose, right? Your other option is you use this as demand. So now if we have any sort of low time frame SFP, you can get in tighter. So if any of these major lows get run, did this one get run? There you go, right there. Big low got run. Okay. This would be, I think, a potential long trigger. Either above here or the more safe long entry is above here. But you know, the 12-hour, remember the stop was way down here. On the lower time frame, if we're able to flip this, I think you could justify a long here. Your target remains the same. Your target is based on the H12 and it's all the way up here. Okay. And your stop is now below this swing failure pattern. So you're going to have a much tighter risk reward from here targeting there. So if it flips this, I think you could long it like that. Something like that. Nice little trade. But again, I'm not really interested in long alts right now. I don't trust Bitcoin. Ultimately, any of these lows, if they give you a swing failure pattern, you can look to get in on a similar setup to like this, right? Look for the breaker, look for the break in market structure, and bang it. But I personally, out of the ones we've looked at so far, I like this more than I like some of the other ones. We've got the daily close happening here in 2 minutes. So we'll see how that ends up. But because of this low getting run here, I like this more than other setups, right? Other alts. Break this high, and generally I think this could probably get some relief. But we got to wait and see what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin's trying to do a little bit of a nosedive going into the daily close here. All right, Sol, only because you called me Big Daddy, you fucking weirdo. So yeah, I really want to short Sol a while ago. I don't even remember. This is obviously a video from over a month ago. I was hoping it would come up into here, near the range highs, right? Upper part of the range. I was hoping to get some sort of move into here to short it. It came just shy. So that actually is still an interesting level. Came down into the lows. To me, we're rejecting right here. Similar to Bitcoin, right? So if I look at Bitcoin on the H12, it's kind of similar, right? We have that H12 block just kind of capping price right now. Same idea here. So if this can get above here, I would probably still want it to reclaim the mid-range. To be honest with you. Above here, above 40, I'm interested in longing Sol. Because the risk you run with this thing is this here. Never getting tagged. So what I could see happen is something like this, right? Run these highs into a lower high and then short that back down. So have to be careful there, but in terms of like a scalp or something like that, day trade, I think if we can get above here, you can get a day trade into here, and then if you get above 40, right, I think you can get a day trade up into, you know, maybe 46 to 50, this block here. So potential for some relief. Again, it's going to depend on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin shits the bed, this is just going to roll over right from here back to the range lows. So a lot of longs, I think if you miss the like kind of the big dump long, I think you got to wait for it to flip resistance. This is obviously a key level because we're consolidating here. If you zoom in, you've got a little mini range in itself right here. So here's your little mini range. Back near the range lows, look what happened. Right into the order block in the lower 1/3 of the range. You got a nice wick. That would have been a decent long. So on the low time frame, here is your long trigger above here. Get above here. Get above this mini mid-range. Stop down here. That's such an ugly looking X. Stop down here. So I know a lot of these setups I'm showing you guys, you're like, oh, your stop is so far away. But what you have to do is use the low time frame to get in tighter, right? On the 12-hour, you're not going to get that super tight stop. So something like this, potentially, on the low time frame. All right, Bitcoin daily close. Meh, that's not a good-looking daily candle, that's for sure. But we didn't break low yet. Remember what I talked about with the swing low on, that was on Ethereum. That, in 12 hours, this swing low confirms. Remember that. Same as Bitcoin. In 12 hours, this will be a swing low. So, at 5 in the morning for me, if this candle closes above here, this is now your invalidation for longs below here on the 12-hour. Have a good night, bro. Turn video on. I'm not at home, so I don't have my webcam. So there's no neck cam today. And no neck cam next week. After that, I should be back to regular. But if you DM me, I'll sell neck pics for Ethereum. Or ramen. Okay, I'm going to take 2 more altcoins. So I think I will do BNB. And what else? I love you too, Theo. You guys are saying BTC's dying. It's barely moving, right? Define dying. On the 1-minute chart, maybe, right? But on like the 6-hour chart, nothing's really happened. I actually hate that candle. So we'll see. Like this is a critical spot for Bitcoin. If it gets below here, I think it's fucking probably cooked. Right? Because if this, again, that's the whole reason I love swing failure patterns. If this is the low, right, that SFP should confirm this is a low. So if we lose that low, it's a very easy short trigger. All right, I'm going to do I'm going to do BNB. And I have such a I hate like ignoring you guys, but I'm gonna do Dan. Like I said, send me Ethereum. I'll send you infinity pictures of my neck. I'll open an OnlyFans with just my neck for the right price. All right, I'm gonna do BNB, and I'm gonna do. I already did Ave earlier in the stream when I was yelling at someone. I'll do Atom. I'm gonna do BNB and Atom, guys. Quick point of order. So I know I did that altcoin video. If you guys remember, I did that altcoin video where I had my new fancy camera. So when I get home from my vacation, that altcoin video series is going to start. The problem with these streams is I do so much talking that I never get time to go through all your alts. Like, you guys have thrown like 15 different alts at me, and I would love to get to them all. I just don't have the time. So these streams are going to become solely focused on BTC and Ethereum, and the goal is to get these streams to be around 1 hour, maybe slightly longer. Knowing me, probably 1.5 hours. And then every Wednesday, I will also be doing an altcoin only stream. So those will start when I'm back home, and I will be doing more altcoin kind of charting, because I know everyone is in different alts and you want to know what's going on with your alt. So I'm making an entire video that I'm going to stream. I'm going to be doing twice as many streams now, and one of them will be purely about altcoins. So that is coming soon, guys. Okay, I'm going to do BNB. Someone had a good question in here. Can you talk about paying yourself? Do you have a system to take out profits? Is it percentage based, fixed amount, or a time base? So I'm not going to give you dollar figures, obviously, because you probably work for the IRS, you Fed. But absolutely, I think you need to have a plan when it comes to paying yourself. Otherwise, what the fuck are you doing? Look at all you guys in the chat who are telling me Bitcoin is dying. You guys literally marked the bottom. Everyone said Bitcoin's dying, and now it's mooning. Bitcoin's back alive. Zoom out. Zoom out, homies. Zoom the fuck out. Right? We want to see where this next 12-hour candle closes, and then we'll determine what Bitcoin wants to do. Right? We have our high. We have our low. This is going to be key, because right now that's a lower high. We need to see if it makes a lower low. If it does, then we can start talking about it dying. So in terms of, this guy says buddy, I want to have the face cam. I'm sorry, I'm taking a week off. CRA, IRS, SEC, all of them suck. So in terms of paying yourself, I absolutely think you should have a system in place. Obviously, what you want to do first is build up that account, right? I don't think you need to worry about. The problem is people start trading full time way too early. They start trading full time before they have the money to actually survive, right? I think if you want to trade full time and have that be your primary source of income, you either need to have like 1 to 2 years of living expenses in the bank, like minimum, right? Because what you don't want to do is have to take profits out or have to make money to survive. Because when you trade properly, you're risking, let's say, 2 to 5% of your account per trade. You want to compound your account. As your account grows, that 2 per 5% that you have as your risk, your R, is going to grow in line with your account size. So if you're constantly withdrawing from your account, right, you're never going to be able to grow that account to a point where you're starting to trade bigger size. So the goal initially is to build up that trading account as much as possible. And ideally, you either have your job still. I don't think most people are prepared, nor should they try and trade full time. Keep your day job. That way you have your expenses covered, you have your savings covered, and you can just focus on building that account up. Because you need to know, let's say your monthly expenses are $5,000 a month to live. Well, if your account is only 10 grand and you're risking 2% a trade, right? Every trade you're risking 200 bucks to make 400. You got to win a lot of fucking trades. You got to win more 12 trades just to get your monthly expenses, right? You got to do a 50% on your account just to get your monthly expenses. So that's not good, right? But if your expenses are $5K a month and you have a $100,000 trading account, so each trade risk is 2% is $2,000, you only got to win 3 trades. You got to make 6R to cover your nut, right? So you need to kind of have that conversation with yourself. Do out your budget, figure out how big your account is, and then start figuring out what you want to do in terms of paying yourself, trading full time, and all that kind of shit. Don't quit your day job. You absolutely do not have to. You can totally trade while working. Just zoom out. If you have a 9 to 5 job, trade the 4-hour chart. There's only 2 4-hour candles while you're at work, right? So that's what I would do if I were you. If you're wondering, okay, how soon can I start cashing out of my account? Early on, your number one goal should be to grow that account as big as possible. Don't worry about cashing out of it. If you want to lock in gains, sure. Let's say your trading account is 50 grand. When it gets to 100, take 25 off the table, right? But the idea is to compound your account to a point where the money that you're making off it is significant and potentially enough that, you know, you can start living on it. So if that's the goal, obviously. So yes, you should have a plan for paying yourself, but I think a lot of people start taking money out too early because they need to take out money to live, to pay rent and shit, right? Your landlord doesn't accept Bitcoin, bro. You guys literally marked the bottom. You told me Bitcoin was dying, and look at this. Look at this. We're going to 100K, can't you tell? 100K. So what would be savage is if this is just a fake out of the daily open. Let's see here. So here's the daily open right here. Right? So mark this on your chart. Boom. So if we trade back below here, right? There's the daily open. If we trade back below here, there's a pretty good chance that's the high of the day. So there's a trade setup for you. But if we stay above it, right, that's great. Or if we do this, right, let's say we come back down here, but then we reclaim it, right? There's your entry. You probably got in near the low of the day. So mark the daily open on your chart. It's 33,670, and let's see how we trade around it over the next several hours. Okay, guys. I think I'm going to just end it. Can I meet you in real life? Absolutely not. Hello, Sensei Mayne. I like that. That's got a nice ring to it. Isn't BTC moving up right at the open and bearish? Well, that's kind of what I just explained to you, right? Mark the daily open. If we're going to have a bullish day, generally you want to see the low of the day get put in early. So if this is going to be an up day and we're going to trade up to like 35, pretty quick here, you're going to want to see us do this and then this, or just go up from here, right? You want to see the low of the day put in early. It's not always. It could put we could do this, right? And then do this and then close like this, and it's still a bullish day. Right? But generally, as a rule of thumb, you want to see the low of the day get put in early on a bullish day and the high of the day put in early on a bearish day, right? So if we do this and then break down, right, that's a good chance that could be the high of the day. So we'll wait and see, but it's a key level to mark, right? Mark it on your chart, and it's a great way to practice. See what happens in the next couple of hours relative to the daily open. Yeah, generally we get volatility, right? The Asian session is going to be starting soon. Hey, guy, do you even fish, bro? I got you licked on the sea. I got them all in the bag. I wish I knew what that meant. I have gone fishing before. I do live in BC, but I'm not like a big fishing guy. No, I'm more of like a sit on a lake, drinking beers on a boat kind of guy. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this up. It's been like almost 2 hours. I am on vacation. But yeah, hopefully this was valuable. I'm glad the stream worked this time. If you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter. Join the Discord. It's free. Link in the description of my Twitter. I will be back soon with another video. I'll let you guys know when. Maybe I'll do a quick pre-recorded video in the middle of the week. As usual, lots of trade setups and ideas shared, also some educational material, so definitely rewatch these. And if you have questions about the ranges and how I got them and things like that, my last 4 or 5 streams have 100% been surrounded or focused around, range trading. So go check those out. Please like the video, retweet it, watch it thousands of times, share it with your friends, pin down your family members, make them watch it as well, and please God, send me money. So if you guys have any other questions, you know where to find me. I've been pretty MIA in the Discord. I will be in there a little bit more this week, but I am taking this week off for the most part to kind of hang. But I'll be on Twitter. You guys know where to find me, and I'll be back kind of towards my regular shit kind of come later next week. So appreciate you guys tuning in as usual, and yeah, hope everyone has a good Monday, and we'll talk to y'all soon.